Hey, how's it going?
What's up?
Welcome to the show, everybody. It is a beautiful sunny day here on the final split.
Give out free cookies.
Free cookies. We call an intro,
Hmm?
All right.
and then we'll get right into it. Here we go. Hey, how's it going?
What's up?
Welcome to the show, everybody. It is a beautiful sunny day here on the final split. Gonna get tan here during the show. We have a very
So emotional.
that's right. Yeah, we have a we're gonna be red on this side by the end of the show. It's like shining.
Horribly big.
Yeah, just like I'm gonna be cringing at how painful that
guess
side of my face feels. But
Soon enough, I won't be the only brown person on the stream.
that's a good point. That's a
The
good point.
diversity on the show.
Wow.
White,
Okay.
black, X.
Wow.
Oh man, I can't follow that up. I'm done. The show is over. So, joining me on the show this week, we have the Darkman 78. How is the 78th Darkman doing today?
78th Darkman's pretty good.
In a pretty good mood. This is
Yeah.
just helping you kill time. Is
Yeah.
what the show is doing here.
Pretty much.
We're just
Like I got really bored an hour before the show. I'm like, I really have nothing to do.
yeah.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I
well,
can't. I would have liked to stream, but
Right.
it's an hour before the show. I'm like, I can't stream.
But you
so
can do it. You
what
can
am
do
I
it
gonna
after the show,
do?
though, right? Then you're taken care of, right? So I fully
Yeah.
expect Mega Man 5 runs
Yeah.
between
That's
now
like-
and
Yeah.
5 a.m.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
No.
No, not
Yeah.
at all. All right. Well, it was worth a try. We also have this week, as himself, we have Spike Vegeta playing Spike Vegeta.
Hey, we're back in the normal room. All
Welcome
right.
back to the normal. Yes, you're
I
back.
don't
in
have my
your-
snazzy bedpost right
Yeah.
here. Yeah. No, it's good being back in the other part of Arkansas.
There you
So
go. The other part. There's two parts.
there's two total parts of Arkansas.
Okay.
I went and checked out the other one. Not as good.
Not as good.
Yeah.
Your part's still, as long as your part's still the superior one.
It's
There
a
we
sick
go.
rival we have going down here. But yeah.
All right. Well, welcome back. And our guest this week was competing in the Nintendo World Championships and is now joining us to talk about it. We have Bananas. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
All recovered from the sudden trip.
Yeah, I slept a good bit today. Took a nap.
Good. That's good. I guess we'll go ahead and get right into it. We'll save the Nintendo World Championship stuff for a little bit later here, and I know the chat's really excited about it. They've already been asking questions, so we'll probably have a nice discussion about that. But first, we might as well start the show. So the first topic we've got here is a big thing that was announced earlier this week. We've got a pretty serious competitor to Twitch coming up
Yeah.
this summer. We've got YouTube Gaming right around the corner. Sounds threatening. Is it threatening? Should we expect some competition here? Are people going to be trying out YouTube Gaming? What's going on? What do you guys think?
Nah, man, this YouTube, I've never even heard of it. Sounds pretty niche. Like, yeah, of course. I don't know. If I'm Twitch, in all due respect, I love streaming there, but this is terrifying. YouTube's got a lot of money, and they've been doing this for a while, and they've got a more established fan base right now. You talk to anybody, whether, whatever they do, video games, they have nothing to do with, the movies, whatever. Like, they know what YouTube is, and it's becoming easier and easier to upload videos to YouTube. Twitch, you still get, the average person on the street does not know what Twitch is. So, I think it's a pretty big time rival. I hope that Twitch is able to look at this and say, all right, let's actually, make our product better, make our site better, do what we have to do to match that. Because up to now, it's been hitbox. It's been these random little, basically the green parties that are never actually going to jump up and win the election. Now you've got a very, very big blue or red state or red candidate sticking in your room with you. So hopefully this inspires just streaming in general, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, whatever, to just move forward in the future. But yeah, it's I mean look at E3. All of a sudden Twitch goes down. All of a sudden YouTube has however many concurrent viewers. They said it was like, I don't know, like 1 million or more than, I don't know the actual figures, but it was already beating Twitch.
Yeah.
So you got that established fan base. It's almost like, what's Twitch going to be able to do? They're going to have to get a little creative over at the Twitch headquarters.
Darkman, go ahead.
See, my thing is, I see YouTube gaming more as like a complement to Twitch rather than a competitor, because it's like Spike said, YouTube has an established base, like in the entire world, basically, like of people that already know it. And I think Twitch has shown in the past, for all its faults, for all its benefits, people don't seem willing to leave it once they're in it. And obviously things can change. Twitch can really screw up, YouTube can really take off well and do stuff that wants to attract streamers and people from Twitch over. But I see it more as a blessing for the streaming community as a whole rather than a direct competitor. I don't know. It's like Spike said, they had so many viewers, but so did Twitch over the weekend, the week, even for all their faults that they had with streaming with E3. Their numbers seemed really good, like business as usual. So obviously it's early to tell. I mean, things could definitely go sour or it can go smooth. But I don't know. I think this is good.
You bring up a good point there. I mean, Twitch's numbers have never been higher than the C3. I think they've had some pretty consistently huge numbers, and that is considering all of the league tournaments that they've hosted and the international and all of that. They've had hundreds of thousands of viewers before, but this was really, I think, the first time where they've been pushing the limits of their viewer counts. So interesting. Bananas, do you have anything to say about YouTube gaming?
I think it's gonna crash and burn.
Really?
Yeah.
Why
I
do you think
mean,
that?
YouTube, I don't know. YouTube, at least at first, YouTube doesn't seem to implement things very well in the beginning. I mean, it might get better. I hope it does, and I hope that Twitch takes notice of it, and I hope Twitch works on things, but
Sure.
I think that as of right now, Twitch is kind of cocky in its position, even though it doesn't have room to be, and I think they probably won't try making a change until something actually happens.
Sure. I thought it was interesting, Twitch's response to YouTube gaming, like showing up on Twitter. Twitch replied with some sort of smart alecky comment with a kappa at the end. And I'm thinking, you might not want to do that just yet, because this could be the very, face of the destruction of your company if you don't play it right. So you got to be careful. But yeah, I mean, the thing that YouTube gaming is going to have to compete with really is that Twitch has an established fan base at this point. Not to say that YouTube doesn't. I mean, YouTube has probably the biggest fan base online, but Twitch has kind of filled that specific, live gaming. They've really kind of cornered that market so far. So it'll be interesting to see what people do. I think you're going to see a lot of people try YouTube gaming at the very least. Kind of like Darkman said, they're kind of going to be like complements. Maybe you use YouTube gaming when Twitch isn't working, things like that. But I'm also curious to see if YouTube gaming will be more stable than Twitch, because there have been a lot of people complaining about Twitch, but at the same time, you don't really have anywhere else to go. I mean, you have options, but not options that people are going to seriously consider in bulk. So I think it's just it's gonna force Twitch to kind of be a little bit more rigid in what they do, if anything.
It's what it brings me back to, 13-year-old Spike Vachita and being a big wrestling fan and watching, WCW and WWF, how you had, each of them, all of a sudden there was this rivalry and you had to collect your own kind of superstars. These were the faces of your franchise or whatever. And I wonder if we'll start to see that if Twitch is going to in some way change contracts with their big streamers, go to the big league streamers, the Cosmos and the Trihexes of the world and say, we need you to not try out this YouTube thing. That's going to be the biggest storyline I want to hear is when all of a sudden are streamers going to become
Right.
more than just another stream. Like you are the face of our franchise.
Yeah, I mean, are they going to start reserving streamers and saying, you really can't go anywhere else? You got to be on Twitch if you're going to be on Twitch, and maybe they'll pay people for it. Who knows? But the other thing too is that some of YouTube's features that they've already announced and promised are things that Twitch can't provide at this point. So there's, I guess, like a DVR feature during the stream. You can just kind of like rewind, go to, you can go off of the live feed, go back and watch a replay, and then cut back to live.
Mhm.
Just little things like that, I think, maybe make them sound appealing. But they also have, I think, a hill to climb in that maybe they don't have some of the same social integration. What's their chat system going to be like?
Sure.
How responsive is the stream going to be? Is it going to be instant delay, or lots of questions still? But Darkman, did you have something else you wanted to add?
I forgot now.
All right, I didn't mean to wear you off the top.
It was inspirational. We want you to know.
Yeah. But okay, well, it got the chat talking anyway, so they're interested too. We'll see what happens. We'll keep you up to date with YouTube gaming as we learn more. How about that? And speaking of learning more, let's learn more about the Nintendo World Championships with somebody that was actually at the championships, unlike the rest of us here. Bananas, walk us
Hello.
through it. I think maybe we should start at the beginning. When did you find out that you were going to be one of the invited players to this
Oh, gosh.
championship? Do you know?
Oh yeah, okay. So the championship, like I got there on Saturday.
Mhm.
I got a message from Rom Scout on the previous like Wednesday or Thursday saying, "Hey, Nintendo contacted me and said they wanted you to be one of the invited players to the Nintendo World Championship. Would you be interested?" And so I'm sitting there like, "All right, my schedule for work next week is already made.
Mhm.
What the heck am I gonna do?" But I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this opportunity. I don't even care. I'll quit.
I'm going for it. Yeah, you can't turn down Nintendo.
Yeah. So I told Rom Scout that I was interested, and so someone from Nintendo Treehouse I think emailed me, and they set up everything, and and I asked Rom Scout like, who are the other invited people, and he told me, and he said, I don't really know how they got that list. I was like, yeah, but yeah. So I knew for roughly less than a week before
Okay.
it got announced, because I think it got announced Wednesday beforehand.
We work, people. What is this?
Yeah.
I know exactly, like, and I didn't think that the other invited players were going to be able to make it out because, like, I mean, work and everything. I know that almost everybody works. I figured Trihex would go and Cosmo would go. I didn't think Essentia would make it because it was so last minute, and I didn't know if Sinister would make it because it was so last minute.
Sure.
So it was pretty amazing that everybody actually made it out.
Yeah.
So from what you understand, you were their first 6 options in terms of speedrunners, at least.
Yes, that is what I would assume.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, you get this
I believe
week's
that, yeah.
you get this week's notice to fly out there. I mean, do you get the impression that they always knew they were going to invite people out to be in this, or did it seem like a last minute like, hey, why not? Let's invite these people. I mean, do you get any sense?
Well, they told us when we were there that they set like one person aside to pick who these 8 people were going to be.
Okay.
So this guy had like apparently not heard of speedrunning.
Oh. Okay.
Yes, exactly. He had not heard of speedrunning. He found like SGDQ 2014 or something on YouTube, and he got addicted to watching GDQs.
Okay.
And he just watched tons and tons and tons of GDQ videos and picked out like 6 people who are known for speedrunning Nintendo games, and that's how we got picked. So
Nice.
I mean, when
I
you
just
said
want to
one
say,
person,
so my image is that Cosmo got in for ZZT. I just want to throw that
The
out.
famous Nintendo game ZZT.
ZZT.
Yeah.
This guy, he's in there.
That's
yeah,
it.
sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so
but yeah, go ahead.
so yeah, I
Okay.
mean, you get like a week's notice to prepare. I mean, did you do anything to prepare? I mean, they didn't tell you what games you're gonna play, so how do you even?
I bought Splatoon.
Okay.
That was my preparation. I bought Splatoon. I played up to level 3, and then I went on my way.
Okay.
You nailed it.
Yeah, I
There
mean,
was no obviously Zelda 1 had been promoted as one of the other games. Did you just go with the
Yeah.
strategy? You're just going to let that one be what it is?
No, I actually after work I would practice that one for like an hour or two a night because I just didn't want to be the person who died. I was super upset when I didn't get to play Zelda 1. I
You
was
wanted-
like, I
you wanted it.
practiced this game.
So
It was dumb.
now, did you take the NES strategy like TMR? Did you get it on the Wii U? What was your?
I used Wii VC
Okay.
because I cannot play on the freaking 3DS. Like if they would have made me play on a 3DS, I would have lost because that circle pad is the worst thing in the world, and I can't use a D-pad at all. So, whatever.
So,
I- what?
they fly you guys all out there, and then what? Now, so before the event happens, do they do some sort of like pre-party? Is it, we're all hanging with
VIP.
Miyamoto over here? We got Reggie in the house. Like, what was it like
Okay.
when you get there?
When we got there, we get into our rooms and they had gift bags for us all, which was really cool. I mean, it only had a couple things in it, but it's still really cool. And they gave us our own T-shirt, which was the T-shirt we wore on Sunday, obviously.
Okay.
And so they had told us the night before that we were all going to meet up at 5:30 in front of the Microsoft Theater. So we met up, and then we had to actually do some interviews with these people who are making a documentary for Disney XD. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I'm going to say it anyways because it's coming out in a month. So we met up and they took us out to dinner at it was like a restaurant bar, and we just kind of hung around and talked to all the other competitors. There was a Nintendo rep there, but that was it. Like he was the only one there, and then the Disney Channel interviews, and it was a pretty fun night though, but it kind of dragged on because they took up Trihex and Cosmo and TMR to do the interviews first. And I swear, Trihex must have been talking for like a straight hour because they were gone for an hour and a half.
I can absolutely not believe that. I don't. That does not fit my description of Trihex. I can't imagine him.
What a real talker, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, my interview took 10 minutes, and Cosmo, Trihex, and TMR were gone forever. Like, oh my gosh.
Do you think
I
they were
thought
being
gonna
given
come back.
information about the games? It wasn't an interview. They were actually just being told, like, all right, this is going to be the first game. This is how you're going to win.
No.
No.
The people, I mean, they were Disney Channel people. They didn't know anything about the competition at all.
Okay.
And even the Nintendo reps didn't know anything. Like they kept it pretty much under wraps. What had happened was they didn't set anything up, and then they went and took up the first 3 people to interview, and they still had to set everything up to do the interviews. And
okay.
yeah, so
So then they had time to be buddy with them and say, like, all right, give me a little longer interview because
yeah, definitely.
I'll give you my life story. Yeah. Okay, so you have these Disney interviews, which is pretty cool.
Well, I don't know if you can talk. Can you like? What were they even asking you guys? It's like, if they didn't really know about the Nintendo World Championships, it was just like. So,
It was really generic. It was like, are you nervous? What games do you think are going to be in this? They said, who do you think's going to win? And then one of the other questions was, what's your argument for you winning the world championship? And it was just a bunch of pretty generic questions.
okay.
So, Bananas, what was the argument for you winning the championship?
I said to that question, I said, well, if the final game is The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword any percent speedrun, I think I have this in the bag.
That is the honesty right there. That is good. I imagine the other competitors didn't say something like that. I feel like they might have been a little more cocky about it. I don't know. That was
Maybe some of them, you know.
you're being honest though. Okay, so like day of the event, right? You're just brought on stage, or I mean, did they go through anything for you? Did they tell you like
Oh man.
this is how it's going to be? This is how you have to look when you lose. You have to like be happy about it and wave and
It was a really long day. We had to get there at 9:30, and so we stood outside for a while waiting for everyone to get there because apparently nobody knows what time 9:30 is. And we had to go in through a metal detector and take all our stuff out, and they had to check and make sure all our phones were off because yeah,
they don't want people cheating.
right. And So they take us downstairs to this room, which would be the room that we hung out in for like 6 straight hours. Oh my
Wow.
God.
Wow.
And
Confinement.
they take us straight down there. And so they lock the doors and everything. And they say, okay, so the reason that we needed you guys to shut off your phones and everything and make sure there's no contact with the outside world is we're going to show you this game that nobody's ever seen before.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and that is where we saw Blast Ball. And they didn't tell us it was a Metroid game, obviously. And someone actually asked, like, is this a tech demo? Is this going to be a Metroid game? And the guy said, I can't tell you that. So we all had this feeling, like
Something's going on here. Yeah.
this is something.
But at the time, I mean, even on the stream for the championships, they called it Blast Ball. I don't think they even
Right.
did they say Metroid Prime on
No,
the
No,
stream?
I didn't
No.
until Nintendo Showcase.
Yeah, I think at that point it was just called Blast Ball. So even still.
So they set up 6 3DSs, and actually one of them was broken, and the gyro didn't work. And like gyro is a huge part of that game to do well, and so one person each match couldn't use gyro. And I think like Cosmo chose to use that 3DS every time he played because he didn't like gyro, and that's why he was the goalie for our team. But
Okay.
that's later. Anyways, so they took us after they took us down there. We played that. They took us upstairs to the stage to practice blocking and everything. They gave us what order we were gonna go into, like get called in, and I was freaking last. I was so upset when they told me I was last. I was so upset, and
You wanted to just blend in with everybody else, but then
yes,
you
exactly.
Yeah.
And I went right after Aaron, or no, I think I went right after the other YouTube guy. But basically, it didn't matter because I'm going after someone who's famous. So I'm just like, nobody's gonna cheer for me. I'm just gonna be that awkward last person that walks out here. And Aaron was like, "I'll make sure everyone claps for you." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." But so they called us up and then they told us like, "Okay, you have to practice losing." And Reggie was in the audience, and then Bill was in the audience, the guy who usually does the Nintendo Directs. And so they told us you need to run between the aisles, the 2 center aisles, and like smile and high five everyone who's in the audience. So this is the greatest part because the people on the right side of the stage had to exit on the right side of the stage, and the people on the left side of the stage had to exit on the left side of the stage. Obviously,
Okay, that makes sense.
Re-
yeah.
Reggie was
No,
on
no
the left
question.
side of the stage. Nobody was on the right side of the stage. Everyone who exited stage left got to high five Reggie. It was freaking great.
So did you high five Reggie then?
I freaking high fived Reggie. It was
Wow.
great. Aaron and I were like, we're not washing this hand.
Yeah,
ever
never
again.
wash the hand. That's right. You've high fived the Reginator,
Exactly.
the Reginald himself.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
Okay, now was that scripted? Can you tell us about that? Was that like the whole like I'm Reggie, I'm gonna fight? We're getting a
The
little bit ahead.
Vince McMahon
I mean,
persona he took on.
Were the insults? Yeah, I mean, was that all scripted or was it? Did it seem real? Like, oh man, like Hungry Box is calling Reggie out and saying he sucks.
Okay.
Like,
Okay, Hungry Box was actually in that room with us when we played Blast Ball, and we
Uh-huh.
asked him like, "What's going on? Why are you here?" And he said, "I don't know. They told me that I'm just here to coach the other contestants because I was here last year." So Hungry Box had no idea what was going on until right before he went up and played Reggie.
okay.
So as
Wow.
far as I know, it was pretty real, but it was yeah, I was really surprised they didn't tell him. Like, what does it matter if they told him that? I guess they didn't want
Yeah.
it to get leaked.
It just kind of struck me as like, wow. I mean, he's insulting Reggie when the guy just offered him a job. Like, hey, do you want to work at
Yeah.
Nintendo? No, you suck. Like, okay.
So building up to the Nintendo World Championship, the event itself, what was the green room, I guess we'll call it? What was it like? Did people seem nervous? Were people pacing back and forth? Were people just kind of trying to like find their own corner, not talk to anybody? What was the energy of the room like?
It was really anxious, I think. I mean, it was a high-spirited room. I wouldn't call it nervous. I would just say anxious. I mean, people clustered in groups, but it was like that the entire time. Like the speedrunners kind of clustered together, but we kind of intermixed. and then the other people would cluster together. John Numbers, I think, was teaching the YouTubers how to play Zelda 1 the entire time we were down there, actually. And but there was a lot of talking, and I think it was just a lot of nervous chatter,
Sure.
anxious chatter, trying to not think about what's really going on.
Because
Stuff
it's
like
hard to
that.
be it's hard to feel like you're pressured because you don't know what you're going to play, so it's hard
Exactly.
but you're still hoping you do well and thinking about it.
Yeah, I think people were just nervous that like we were going to end up playing games that we had never played before.
Sure.
Games that we didn't know the controls for, stuff like that. That's
Were
what
you
I
guys
was.
kind of theorizing what games they might be the whole time? I'm sure there was a certain extent
Yeah.
of that.
And also, they never told us how it was actually going to work up until right before the tournament. We saw how it was going to work when you guys saw how it was going to work. We had no idea
Wow.
how the elimination would work. We didn't know how many people would be going into each round. We didn't know anything about that at all. So we were nervous,
Okay.
like, is it going to be single elimination? Like, am I
Right.
going to be the only person walking off the stage? Or how are they going to do this? So that was a little nerve wracking for me too, because I didn't want to be like the first person out
Right.
who walks off the stage alone. So
In
So-
16th place.
so,
All right,
Like adding to that, like what was their like mentality, I guess, going before it? Like you didn't know how the format was gonna work, and I mean, I know there was people talking about how some of the other invitees were kind of taking the competition. So what was your approach? Like what was your expectations, I guess?
well, really, I can't say I was surprised by anything. I guess I just kind of took it as it came.
Alright.
One game
And
at
I
a
don't
time, right? That's all you can do.
Yeah.
So all right. Let's for purposes of not making this take like 10 hours, but so the event starts, you're on stage, they announce the first game, and you still didn't know at this point what the game order was going to be or anything. So as soon as they show the game, that's what you know.
Well, that's actually not true.
Okay.
We knew Splatoon was first because they had a prompt for Kevin to read that said announcing the first game Splatoon. So
Remove that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that
Kevin
didn't work.
Pereira, in all of his comedy glory, says it's time for Splatoon. Did you know your teams, or was that
No,
all?
it was the teams were not told to us beforehand. We did actually get to pick our weapon, but we didn't know we picked our weapons separately. We didn't like know what other people's weapons were. We were allowed to tell other people, but I mean, most people just didn't really bother because it didn't matter. I mean, we were going to be on random teams. And it turned out that actually we were worried that there was going to be a team of a bunch of rollers
Yeah.
by themselves and everybody was going to pick rollers, but it turned out that out of the 16 people only 4 people picked roller, which was pretty cool. So that was interesting.
And who was on your team?
Oh shoot. It was me, Aaron, Mad Mage, and someone else who I'm forgetting. I'm sorry, someone else.
It wasn't a
Someone
speedrunner like a Sinister One, or because
On-
we at home had no idea.
The problem
Okay.
for us at home, we saw player 1 through 8, so we had no clue who was who.
My problem was like I was on the end and so I couldn't see past Aaron at all. I
Okay.
didn't like I didn't know who else was there. I only remember Mad Mage because he said something to me before the match. So I don't remember who the 4th person was.
Okay.
So nobody knows.
No, we'll have to go back and.
If I saw the video, I would know because we're all standing 4 by 4, like 4 right next to each other.
Okay. And was there any point during Splatoon where you got nervous at all, or was it? I mean,
Yeah,
pretty.
yes, definitely. We lost the first 2 matches, and I was like, "All right, well, this is it," because I did the worst on my team both times. Like I had never even played roller, but I wanted to pick it just to ensure that my team didn't not have a roller and the other team did, and we were on like maps that are really good for rollers or something like that. So I picked it just to ensure my team had one.
Okay.
And I had never played roller before, so it was interesting. I was a little nervous,
Yeah. I
but
can imagine it's weird because like your ability to move on in the tournament depends on your teammates. So like I feel like there might have been like a blame game going on or something. If your team loses, like I
Yeah.
can't believe you screwed that up. Like
Sinister and I were actually talking about this. We didn't know if Splatoon was going to be like 4-on-4 or if they were going to do the 1-on-1 version.
Mhm.
And Sinister was like, "I really hope it's 4-on-4." And I was like, "Why would you hope that?" Like if it's 4-on-4, then they're gonna blame you when you lose, when your team loses. And Sinister was like, I don't care, I'll take that blame. I'll just be like, yeah, we lost, I suck.
Just admit it. Yeah, like dang. Okay,
Yeah.
so you make it through Splatoon,
Mm-hmm.
and then they drop the knowledge bomb that there's this new game,
Right.
and everybody in the crowd's like, okay.
They were booing.
Maybe.
Were they booing?
They were booing, yeah.
They were booing.
Mhm. And someone was like, "Oh, come on."
No, that's interesting because
Ooh.
on stream, I'm pretty sure they're like, it's time for the new game, and I think they cut the crowd noise at that point, and they just play the video.
I just play. Yeah.
So I don't remember the booing. Do you guys remember the
No,
booing?
it sounded like every game was a huge success. Like 8 greatest video games of all time, according to the stream.
So Blast Ball
Yep.
gets announced. Now I
Mhm.
understand you really like Blast Ball. Was that true?
Okay.
Or you were
Really
good at
liked
it?
as it stretched. I was good at it.
Good at it. Okay.
Granted, we played 2 rounds, which are 5 minutes each, so nobody really had a good grasp on the game. So that's really nothing. Not saying much. But I was excited because my team was Trihex and Cosmo, and I was like, okay, like there's no way I'm going out in this round. There's no way Trihex
Yep.
and Cosmo and I are losing at this game that nobody has any experience at anyways. So I was excited. I was like, all right, I know I'm making it through round 2 at least.
Yeah. They seemed pretty
That-
buddy the whole tournament. Like, hey, I'm gonna help you. Like, every time they were on camera, they're always talking to each other. Like, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what you're gonna do.
Yeah, well, actually, like Trihex and Cosmo, mostly Trihex, was like pretty much really buddy with all the speedrunners and everything. He was helping everybody out if they needed it, and like just we were all just having a good time. The best thing about the World Championship was there was really just no sense of like I really want to beat you competition. It was just like we're all having fun
Sure.
and like let the best person win. It was that was nice, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see that
Especially-
it wasn't cutthroat.
Yeah, especially like when we're used to the speedrunning community as it is, or I guess as it was
Yeah.
when I was more into it. It was a good change for once.
Yeah. So Blast Ball happens.
Did you guys have any sort of strategy for Blast Ball, or was it just kind of?
Yeah.
Did you not really have time to talk strategy for it?
No, we talked strategy a little bit. Trihex was like, okay, we're gonna have a goalie and we're gonna have 2 aggros, and I was like, okay, I want to. Well, I didn't say this, but in my mind, I was like, I want to be the person who tries to shoot the ball into the goal because I'm good at that.
I
Cosmo was
want to be the star.
automatically
Okay, cool.
Cosmo was automatically like, I'll play goalie because I don't like gyro. And so that's how we played it, and it worked
Okay.
out for us very well.
Worked out well. You make it through Blast Ball, and then Mario Kart happens, right?
Yeah, Mario.
All right. So first question I'm going to ask you is not related to how you played, but just give me the scouting report on Cosmo, because here's a guy who we respect as, can pick up games very quickly. What was happening in Mario Kart though? Like he was getting 12th place. Had he never played before? Do you know?
No, he had never played before.
Never played
He-
before.
He was asking us the controls. He asked who to pick. He asked what kind of bike or cart to pick. He was like, I don't know anything about this. And I didn't know we were playing 200cc because I guess I'm an idiot and I didn't see them change it to 200cc.
Oh.
And I don't
Oh,
know.
you didn't
I don't
know
think.
until you were already racing.
Yeah, then I realized when I made the first turn. But I don't think Cosmo even knew anything about 200cc. So
Yeah.
he was like, Cosmo, I felt so bad for him.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't know Mario Kart, to get thrown into 200cc is just absolutely awful. I can imagine. So yeah, I mean, we kind of got that sense that maybe he hadn't played it before, but I don't know. There was a lot of talk between that and TMR on Zelda 1 and even Sinister 1 in the Super Metroid elimination. There was a lot of talk about the controller.
Okay,
just
yeah.
putting up with that.
People seem to think that Sinister like tried to mess around in the Super Metroid thing. He could not get figure out the controls. Like he was not just trying to mess around and be cocky. Like he could not figure out the controls, and they didn't tell him ahead of time he could change controls, and he didn't see the person who changed controls change controls. So he was just like struggling at
He
the
was
beginning.
flustered. Yeah. I mean, it looked
Yeah.
like he really didn't.
He was like, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say he said that his stream would not let him live it down if he were to have lost that race.
What was his attitude like after the Super Metroid race? Was there just jubilant? Was he just, or was it more
was
just
like he was relieved. He was completely
Yeah.
relieved that he won.
Yeah.
He was super excited when it showed Super Metroid, and then it was like, oh, you're playing on Wii U VC, and he was like, oh.
It's just a roller coaster because he's like, I know this game, I got this, and then they're like, no, you got to play it this way, and he's like, I don't even know what this is. I've never held one of these before.
Is it a tablet? What is
Yeah.
this?
Okay, so then let's see. So Mario Kart happens, and I think they only let like 2 people through in
Three
Mario.
people.
3
The
people
top
got
three
through.
scores, yes.
Okay, and then everybody else had to play Balloon Fight.
Yes.
Now, were you expecting Balloon Fight at all? Was that
I've never played Balloon Fight. I've never heard of Balloon Fight. I didn't know it. Jackson Blackson was right next to me. I said, "What is this game? How do you play it?" And he thought we were playing the one where you like kill the other team members. You kill the other people.
Mhm.
So he was like, "Oh, there's going to be a bunch of people on the course, and you just go pop their balloon." So I was like, "Okay." And then we didn't play that. And so I get into this game and I see these sparkly things and I'm like, oh, maybe these like give you a little bit of points.
You're
And
hoping
the
for
balloons
points,
give you
yeah.
a lot of points. And so I run straight into it.
Let me say, I didn't watch this, but I'm envisioning this because I played a lot of Balloon Fight as a kid, and this just sounds wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, you just
I-
beelined right for the
The Skype groups I was in, all of them that were watching, everyone was like, all right, let's go bananas. That's what all the messages were for like 12 lines. And after it was just like, what? What does she do? Because you just go straight into a star.
I thought it was good. Like when were sparkly things bad?
In
And, like,
modern gaming, they're good. In modern
Yeah.
gaming, they're good.
Yeah. I didn't know what the bubbles did or anything, so then I tried to avoid those because I was like, okay, sparkly things are bad. I'm not touching
Yeah.
anything but balloons.
Now, did you know about the fish? Were you or like?
No.
Okay. Did that
I
get
had
you?
no
I can't remember. Did that get you?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Nice.
I saw a couple people
Uh.
fall for that. Yeah, and that's one of those you have to know it's there.
Yeah, it was. I really like when I lost Mario Kart, I knew I was going to be out because like my strength is modern games. I'm not good at retro. The only game I would have made it through would have been Zelda 1 maybe. Um I I was talking to Cosmo and Sinister and I was like, "Yeah, I'm honestly like I know I'm out in this round."
You just had a sense, yeah.
Yeah, once I saw Balloon Fight, I was like, I've never played this game. I've never seen this game. It's over. I actually did a lot better than I thought I would, though. I didn't think I was gonna get like. I think I ended up getting like 7,000 or 8,000 points.
Yeah.
And at one point, I honestly didn't think I was gonna get that. So I
Yeah,
was happy.
No,
with
I mean,
that.
I think if I remember correctly, I mean, it might have taken a few rounds just to learn, but
Yeah.
you picked it up pretty well. I mean, considering you only got to play for like 3 minutes or something. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a hard game to like
Yeah.
pick up your first time. So
and then so you get eliminated. You have to do the rehearsed like walk off the stage. I'm happy, like yay, high five. Were you relieved after that? I mean, did you want to keep playing, or did you feel like okay, it's not so bad?
I was a little disappointed, honestly, just because, like, I know as being me, there was a lot of people who didn't believe in me, like, for sure. I know that. I read Twitter, whatever. So I was a little disappointed. I wanted to prove myself, but I was really happy I made it that far. And I think I put up, except for the beginning, I put up a pretty good fight in Balloon Fight. And I mean, I was really excited though that Cosmo made it through instead of Aaron because I wanted to see Cosmo in Smash 4. I didn't want John to get the free ride through the championship.
You
I
wanted
wanted
to
to
make him work for it, yeah.
Mhm.
'Cause
I wanted
John's a Smash player, right?
Yes, he is. He plays Smash 4 and I really wanted Cosmo and Trihex to kick him out. I mean, to an extent, because I didn't want it to be 2 speedrunners who made it to the top 2, but like I wanted to see someone beat the Smash player. I thought that would be exciting.
Yeah.
Probably not for him though.
Sure.
Exciting for
Did-
one side anyway. Go ahead, Spike.
Did any part of you, while you were sitting in the green room, kind of pick out, you think this person has more of a chance than any other? Did you have personal favorites? Obviously, like you said, you kind of maybe favored more like Cosmo and Trihex, but was there anyone did John Numbers kind of come off as this guy looks like he'd be pretty legit at all games, or?
Yeah, we knew John Numbers was going to do well. we knew for a long time. I mean, the entire time we were down in that room, he was practicing. Like the entire time we were there, He was
Wow.
practicing. He practiced Smash. He practiced Super Mario Bros. He practiced Zelda 1. He was practicing all these games. Dr. Mario, I think he played a little bit. And also Mr. Blarney, he actually didn't make it through round 1. He got eliminated in Zelda, but he was the person who was winning Zelda 1 and then he died. I thought he would do really well because he had practiced a lot too and stuff like that. So I was disappointed to see him go in the first elimination.
Yeah.
So in the practice room, did you have like I guess access to like a Wii U VC with just like all the games, or like what did they give you?
No, all we had was what we brought. That was
Oh, okay.
Just
it.
what
Yeah,
you
people brought
okay.
their 3DSs. I brought nothing.
I don't think that's a bad thing, though. I mean, you get invited to this event. It's meant to be, at least the way I look at it, it's meant to be more of a for fun thing than a like let's take this 100% seriously and
Yeah,
study
yeah.
every single video game. You know, I mean, it really was just kind of a celebration of Nintendo, and they brought a bunch of you out there to do just that, to celebrate it. I mean, did you guys, after the event is over? I mean, did you do anything after that we didn't get to see? Did you guys go out and party somewhere? Did you get to go backstage with Reggie and talk about it, or?
Well, I think a couple of them went and got drinks, and they did a podcast afterwards as well. One of the people who went through the qualifiers has a podcast channel. I don't have a link to it right now, but I could probably find it somewhere. But I ended up just going straight back to the hotel room and getting a little bit of food because we didn't have dinner, and then going to bed because I had to wake up at 1 a.m. for my flight
Oh man.
back to Atlanta, which sucked because I mean I wanted to stay longer and they all planned to meet up the next day to go to E3 and stuff, and I wanted to do that, but it was, I mean, like honestly after the Nintendo World Championship, it was like a real sense of like we made friendships, which is weird because we were together for not that long.
Yeah.
And I know that it's probably not going to last now that we're all back in our places across the entire country, but it was pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to think about, you know, for as weird as the format might be, there's only been 2 groups of people in 25 years that have had the opportunity to do something like this.
Right.
So, I mean, in that sense, you really do have kind of a unique bond with these people that, you know, you were there and got to compete, got to be on the stage instead of looking at the stage. So, and also, by the way, I just want to point this out. I don't know, you know, what the haters are saying and whatever, but I think making it as far as you did proves that you deserve to be there. So you didn't get knocked out.
Thanks, Golden.
You didn't get knocked out round
Thanks,
1.
Golden.
You're welcome. I'm just saying.
What a sweetie.
I'm just saying. You played well. Now would you do it again if they invited you back next year?
Oh
Was
my
it
God,
fun?
yes. I would
Yes.
love to do it again. In a heartbeat. I would quit my job.
I don't know
To
that
go
we
to
should
this
endorse this.
non-pay.
The final split does not endorse
It
quitting your
was
job.
like it was the experience of a lifetime. It was
Yeah.
amazing. I loved it.
Does it rank higher than GDQs?
Oh yes, it was. I
Wow.
mean, okay, it's a different ranking because GDQ's all my friends are there. You know,
Yeah.
like all my online friends are there. These people are some people I've never met before, but it was such an experience, and everybody was
Yeah.
just so happy to be there and just wanted to have a good time. It was great. I loved it. I would do it when I was
Nice.
21 though, and not 19, so then I could go out for drinks with them.
We'll wait a few years. We'll tell them not to do a championship next year.
All right,
So.
all right.
So, you know, on my channel the last couple nights, we actually talked a little bit about the format of the Nintendo World Championships and how, you know, you kind of had this odd mix of, you know, like they bring up Super Metroid, and kind of what became evident about the race was 2 people had clearly played Super Metroid before, and 3 people had never played it before.
Yes.
Is there some, you know, so we talked about, you know, can you do like if you showcase low tier play, then you're doing all blind games, but that's not really what they're going for because
Right.
they're Nintendo classics. Odds are you had played some of the games in that group and you'd never touched stuff like Balloon Fight.
Right.
If let's say 2016 they want you back again, what would you like to see? Some sort of a different format, like they give everyone 24 hours, like here's the game list, you can practice or not practice as much as you want. Do you like how they did the qualifiers? What would you have done differently or kept the same if they were to do this again in future years?
Honestly, I wouldn't talk about any game. I would have kept it completely a surprise. I think that the surprise games were way cooler than like Splatoon and Zelda 1. I know that probably a lot of people don't feel the same way, and I definitely know that it probably wouldn't have gotten as much hype if they hadn't announced any games at all, because people would just be like, what the heck is this? Like, we don't even care.
Sure.
But I think it would have been a lot more fun if we didn't know any of the games at all. And I definitely think that they shouldn't announce more than they did, because I think that going in not practicing is better. But at the same time, like, I was talking to one of the people who I think was on the board to pick the games, and he said that he was really terrified that uh, 6 people or whatever were going to go into Super Metroid and never have played and all died of Mother Brain, and that was just going to be it.
We were wondering what they were going to do.
But that
with
was the risk you ran, yeah.
Right. Like, they took a chance with that, and it ended up working out for them. And same with like Mario Maker, they didn't know that they were going to be able to beat the levels,
Right.
and they took a chance with that too. But yeah, I honestly think that they should I like the way it was done. I think that they should tell us how it's going to be, how the elimination is going to work, but more than like 2 minutes before we go
really
on stage.
Weirded out by that they didn't give you.
Yeah.
I mean, they really kept you in the dark about everything, not just the games. I mean, the games, that makes sense, but to not even tell you what the format is going to be is kind of interesting. So,
Right.
I mean, and you know, this is, for all intents and purposes, it's the first time they've done this, right? They had the championships in '90, but different format. You know, they didn't try to do this the way that they did this time around. So maybe they're learning from this and they can build on it for next year. So
Right.
let's save some questions for the end, or we're going to exhaust everything now. We still have a couple things to get to. So folks in the chat, save your questions here. We'll get to them in a little bit. But let's move on to our next topic here, which is E3 2015. Now, I'm gonna take this from the angle that you don't have to give me speedrunning specific, like, oh, this game is great for speedrunning, blah blah blah. No, let's just get it out of the way. We all watched E3. Well, most of us did. What are your thoughts on what you saw? Was there anything that excited you? Whether it's a game, whether it's you know, we have backwards compatibility on the Xbox. Like, what are you excited about? Were you excited about Aisha Tyler trying to make memes?
Trying to
tell you,
force a meme on stage.
I had a field day this E3, and I love E3 every year. I wasn't even going to watch this year. I don't care. Like, it's whatever. I'm growing out of E3, but then I realized I'm not. I'm still like 12 years old, and just now I have Twitter. So like,
Twitter was the best part of it. That's the most I've ever enjoyed Twitter was during E3. The entire speedrunning community just pooping on everything, and even just talking about what genuinely excited them. There were actually some good conversations in there, getting responses to, you know, all the big stuff, like when Call of Duty pops up. You know, I don't know, there were a lot of really good tweets during that, but I found it, I'm like you, Golden, I found a new way to completely enjoy E3. That was a lot of fun.
And now it's just going to be a sad, empty void. There's nothing to make fun of anymore. Now we got to think of other things to make fun of. Darkman, what did you think?
Honestly, the only conferences I watched were Sony's and Square's, and I wasn't even intending to watch Sony's. I was just like, I'm bored. I'm gonna watch this.
It was on. You happened to watch
it.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't really care as much for E3 anymore. Like, I don't really buy games as much anymore. It's speedrunning and MMOs, and you know, I don't really need to watch E3 to get my MMO news. So.
Sure.
It's like, I don't know. There's really, like, I watched Squares because, like, you know, maybe they might show some Final Fantasy 14 stuff. But even if they didn't, I knew there was going to be games that, like, if I have an interest in any game, it was probably going to be a Square game.
Yep.
So, you know, seeing like a Nier 2 announced, or Nier 2, however you say it, like, that was pretty cool.
Nier 2, a lot of people not expecting that. That's kind of I think,
and then,
genuine surprise there for most people.
And the Kingdom Hearts 3 gameplay trailer. I was really excited about that. Yeah, like, it was just a lot of good stuff.
I like the fast one that they pulled on that one, where they're, you know, the producer for Kingdom Hearts walks out on stage. People are like, "Oh, here it is!" You know, like they're rubbing their hands together, like, oh, you know, like
the worst part.
Okay, but so then he's ready to go, and he goes, "This is the game you've been waiting for. This is it." And people are like, "Oh, no, it can't be!" And then he cuts to the trailer, and there is a cell phone on the screen. There is a cell phone on the screen, and it's mobile Kingdom Hearts, and you can just hear everybody just like their heart stops, just
Dude,
in the
that
room.
whole sequence is just crank.
And then he's like, no, by the way, and Kingdom Hearts 3, like that's here too.
Oh, we're
Like,
still doing it.
okay.
Kingdom Hearts 3
Please.
canceled. All right.
Please, you're killing me.
It was good though. It was a good touch. I like
Yeah.
that.
Okay, so probably my favorite. I never realized it until this E3 because I don't know. You're so Twitter involved, but everyone is so narrow-minded when they watch E3. So they're like, all right, here's the game that everyone's been waiting for. And so you take someone like me who's like, oh man, I'm watching Ubisoft just to see if there's a new Rayman. Like that's all I'm watching for. So they get we have one final game to show you, and you're like, all right, let's go. And the next thing you know, a skull pops up on screen with blood shooting out of it, and you're like, this is a weird looking Rayman title. Like you're so narrow-minded when you watch these, but
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
yeah.
I think it seems like we're at a point where like people have expectations for certain games, and it's not even so much like I'm excited because they're announcing this new game. It's like people are expecting. There's a lot of angry Metroid fans right now because they didn't get the Metroid Prime game they wanted. Kingdom Hearts people, I mean, they were mad up until Kingdom Hearts 3 actually showed up. I mean, it was nice to show up at the last minute there. But yeah, I mean, it seems like it's like gamers have expectations now, and it's not so much like surprise me with this new awesome game, or maybe it's the fault of the developers. Maybe they're not surprising us in the ways that they should be. But I don't know who to blame there on that one. But it does seem like because Twitter is right there, it's so easy to just jump on there and get mad. So
we're getting to the point where it feels like half the games we see, it's just, okay, here's another shooter. And I say that, and I'd like to throw this out to the general public, that true gamers don't hate shooters. Shooters are fine. It's when you feel like I go hours without seeing a platformer, without seeing like a puzzle game. And so all of a sudden you see something like Dreams, and you're like, Ghoul was talking about it the other night. How does this get greenlit? How does this completely off the wall different? It's just like Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, boom, and then like Dreams out of nowhere. Just these completely different kind of titles, and we're not getting surprise anymore. I realize like these games cost millions of dollars to throw together. There's such a budget behind them that you don't want to take a chance on anything. But I ended up probably some of the most excited I got was looking at some during Microsoft show. Was them showing off a lot of the independent games they were showing, because that is where a lot of the innovative games are coming these days. Cuphead looks like the game of E3 to me. Cuphead looks amazing. I want to play that.
I want to point this out too. Nintendo's approach with the Direct, it was interesting to me because I felt like they spent more time talking to the developers than actually announcing more stuff. Like there were a lot of games announced in that Direct, but there was a decent chunk of it saying like, reminder, it's the 30th anniversary of Mario. Here's a video of a guy who's happy about Mario, and there was a lot of just I don't want to say fluff, but I feel like that's the right word, where it was more.
Can we talk about the Muppets?
The Muppets. We had the Muppets. Yeah. That's fluff. That's
I literally cringed. It was so terrible.
It was something else. Yeah, they always do something kind of just a little off the mark there, but.
One thing, so I don't know if we want to get into talking about, because obviously we are a speed running centric show, to say the least. It's all memes.
We're just 4 people talking on the internet. That's all we
are. But is there anything we would like to see? I don't know, from a speedrunning standpoint, that we see, like somehow we could generate our community out to the general public through E3? I know one thing I would like to see is, one thing that is actually well done at E3 these days is that they're bringing more people on stage to actually demo these games. I agree with one of Parax's tweets where he just talked about it seems so much more genuine, because it gets to the point where everything just looks like a movie these days.
I mean, it's rehearsed, right? You watch the Treehouse and it's like, this is the person I'm interviewing, this is the stage I'm playing, this is how I'm playing the stage. It's very scripted, but at the same time, you're getting gameplay footage, which I think people want the gameplay footage, so that's good. But I thought it was really cool this time around when they're like, oh, hey, you know who's here? Sinister One's here, and he was competing in the championships earlier this week. Why don't we bring him on stage and have him play Mario Maker?
Yeah.
And I liked that interactivity, that surprise where they didn't really know, is he going to clear the stage? Can we somehow make the game look good when he dies a lot? He's struggling through it. Okay. Here's this thing I can do in Mario Maker, and I suddenly, I pop the edit mode back on and I add more blocks or something. You get that instant feedback of like, hey, this is how good or bad my stage is.
Well, I think the problem with that is first and foremost, before E3s turned into these like giant massive events, they were investor conferences. Like all
Sure,
these conferences were for investors.
And they still
So
are.
and they still are. So the problem is, yeah, you definitely need to appeal to your fans because those are the people buying your games and giving you money. But at the same time, you need to appeal to your investors too,
Sure.
because that's like the immediate gains, like your stock, how it's trading on a day-to-day
Yeah.
basis can make or break you. So
Final Fantasy
at the
VII
same
remake,
time,
when that got
exactly,
announced, Square Enix's
exactly.
stock skyrocketed. Yeah,
So it's like you definitely want that fan interaction, but at the same time, you need to make sure your demos, your videos are all polished as heck, so that way your investors like, oh, okay, this could be solid, this could be a good product. So it's tough. It's a tough line to balance.
sure. Yeah, I mean, I think there's just maybe more awareness now of the fact that there are kind of faces of Nintendo, if that's what you want to call it. If that's what you want to call the people who got invited to E3 or the Nintendo World Championships, even. You know, it is whether you want to say it or not. Whether you want to say it or not, like that's kind of part of it. So
That Phil went sponsored by Nintendo.
sponsored by Nintendo. Did you talk to Reggie? You worked out a deal. You said, all right, I'm gonna need a little more.
If only, dude. If only.
A little something on top here, yeah.
Like I
I
really like
mean, they
playing
gave us
games,
like
but
$900 passes.
That's true. Those
Yeah.
passes are really pricey for E3. They're insane.
Wow, like, I
Yeah,
didn't know they were that expensive. Jeez.
yeah, they're pretty restrictive on those. So
Is Trihex still there?
I think he's home now or on his way
Oh.
home.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
this is the last day, so
Yeah,
he's literally the
stayed as
janitor.
long as I could. Yeah, no,
it's the bonus stream. He's staying for the bonus stream.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that we have really any speedrunning takeaways from E3, and I don't know that that's a problem. I think it's exciting
Yeah.
just to see a lot of new games.
The biggest thing that speedrunners like, it should not be a takeaway of like, oh, that game looks sick for speedrunning.
Right,
Like
no.
you never know until a community actually works on a game. It might be a terrible speed game. Like I loved the look of Cuphead. I'm not saying it's gonna be a great speed game.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it looks like fun to play.
Right. No, I mean,
and
I
we
think-
barely even know that.
Yeah.
I think part of the problem with speedrunning is like I feel like for a game to be good, to be a good speedrun game, it just has to naturally come.
Sure.
You can't force it. Like you can't
Right.
like force speedrunning mechanics, or whether it's a result of glitches that were never intended to be found, or it's just
Yeah.
gameplay that takes itself all to speedrunning. It's
Right,
hard
yeah,
to
the
like force that in
speedrunners-
there.
There's
The
a reason that
speedrunners
Super
can't
Metroid
force it.
is what Super Metroid is. It's not that they,
Exactly.
Right.
said, okay, this is going to be a speed runnable,
I'm gonna do this.
we've planned this from day one to be exactly. I mean, I love Deer Force. Don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of things aligned for that to be what it was. Go ahead, Spike.
No, yeah, the speedrunners can't force it, and the developers can't force it.
Yeah.
I think developers kind of almost in that Smash 4 like syndrome. You think like, oh, okay, we want to make a game for speedrunning. A lot of the games, like you say, the Super Metroids out there, they're almost sometimes the best speed games by accident.
Yeah.
It's just like it happens to be that you have all these puzzle pieces, there are all these options in this game, and the gamer was allowed to then put those pieces together and make it a great speed game. I think sometimes great speed games in developers' mind is almost making it such a linear, like sometimes great speed gaming I've always viewed as you're going to take your character and you're going to find these awkward little ways to move them that happens to be the fastest way to
Yeah.
move across the screen, and not what they maybe initially thought of as like, oh yeah, it flows so nice like this. Like I don't want your path.
Sure.
I don't want the developer I don't want the path that the developer gave me. I'm going to make my own path that's going to blast through all that even
All
faster.
right, we gotta wrap this one up here.
Yeah.
E3 2015. Give me like one thing that you're either game or concept or personality. What did you like about E3? Give me something. One of your favorite takeaways here. Doesn't have to be like the one. Just give me one.
I'm going to stick with Cuphead. Cuphead, look,
Spike's up for this Cuphead game. Okay.
I'm playing Cuphead.
He's actually the
Just-
developer of the game, so please buy it.
I pick SMT Crossfire Emblem.
SMT Crossfire Emblem, you stole mine, but that's okay. That's a good one. I think a lot of people are excited for that. We got to see gameplay too. That was cool.
I know.
So-
I don't even remember the Sony conference anymore. It's been too long.
Did anything?
There was. I'll give you a quick refresher. There was disappointment. There was disappointment. There was more disappointment. People were looking at their phones. They're
Oh, there's
just, like,
Kickstarter?
they're
I remember
pushing buttons.
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter
Dude,
shows up.
it's-
Yes. Okay.
Kickstarter, by the way, low point of the entire.
Yes, absolutely. Let's
The
agree.
lowest point.
The worst. They
Lowest
just gave.
We're
what was
a
it, $2
multi-billion
million?
company. Please give us $2 million so we can make this game for you. Like, Come on, Sony, come on, man.
You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb,
Yep.
even though Near 2 sounds really exciting and Kingdom Hearts 3 sounds great. I'm gonna go with Star Ocean 5 simply because I
Yeah.
had, for some reason, I have a real nostalgia for Star Ocean series, so I'm really excited, and especially it's coming out like the beginning of next year probably, so it's really coming out fast. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing I like about them announcing and talking about Star Ocean is that it just feels like it's not a investor game, right?
Yeah.
Everything about E3 is calculated. It's, like we want to show off Disney Infinity, not because anyone here cares about Disney Infinity, but because it will, please our market, right? We have this idea of what a gamer is, and like this is the market, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the market wants guns, and they want, Doom and
there's
ultra violence and all this
just
other
like a few things from that video that really excited me. Like I saw 6 people on the battle screen at once, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then it was like seamless battles. So I don't know. It just felt like a really cool game to play. So I'm hoping it turns out well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
In general, JRPGs got actually kind of slipped in there. Had some really good showings at E3.
Yeah,
Between
I'm
that,
excited for
Xenoblade,
those. Let's see. I would say just like on a personal favorite note, it's not so much that I think it's going to be a great game because I've played it. It's not amazing, but for them to acknowledge Mother 1, at the championships, and they're like, hey, you can now buy Earthbound Beginnings or whatever they relabeled it as. I think them acknowledging that maybe suggests that they still kind of care about the fan reaction there.
Sure.
A little bit. It's not Mother 3 and everybody says like give us Mother 3 and they throw things and that's the way the fan base is, but I think for them to do that, it's just like a nod to say, you know what, we recognize that you guys like this series, and maybe this is just the start of it. Maybe they're committed to doing something else with it too. So
Definitely.
kind of cool. Lots of different ideas from the chat too, so that's cool. Everybody's got their own opinions there. Let's move on, or the show's never going to end. We got to move to Record Setter here, and so the sun that was on my face has moved to this game.
This transition.
That's
God.
I still got it, guys. I still got it.
You didn't lose
Oh,
it this
man.
week. All right, good.
If any E3 booths need a boring pun personality here with mediocre segues, I'm your guy.
I'm glad we're already putting together our commentator booth for
Yeah, That's right.
NWC 2016.
That's right. Mario Sunshine any percent. Cathalon 1 hour 18 minutes 17 seconds. This is a game that I feel like has had graduating classes almost.
Yeah.
Like we're used to the Tofools and the Samurai Mans. They've come and gone. A new era of Sunshine gameplay is here, and it's really cool. I mean, this game continues to go down and down and down. I don't know. It doesn't strike me as a game that's going to stop anytime soon.
Yeah, it feels like in general there's this kind of, we always talk about like, Mega Man's always had this gigantic community. 3D Zelda always has this gigantic community that seems to be a little more balanced. I know Ocarina of Time always got a lot of love, but there was also a fair amount of people who were finding stuff in Twilight Princess and, Majora's Mask and these other games. I feel like 3D Mario, it was kind of more, there was just a Mario 64 community over the years, really, and I feel like it was as big for like Sunshine and the Galaxies. I feel like finally you got this gigantic community who's blown up on in the last 6 months to a year. All of a sudden you're seeing not just this, but both of the Galaxies, the records are being improved, both in the any percent and the higher star categories. People just finally saying, okay, yeah, these are not Mario 64. It doesn't have that kind of nostalgia, but you can see by the schedule for SGDQ that Rob Scout and the crew, they trust in this game. I don't know if Cathalon, I feel like he's one of the racers for this. Sunshine's been in quite a few marathons. Like this is its fourth in its last fourth out of like 5 GDQ appearances that it's been there, and it has the primetime Friday night slot. All of a sudden, this game has gone from it was the weaker Mario 64 in the last few years to now people are absolutely just going crazy for this as a speed game.
Sure.
So,
117.
yeah, and you keep looking back on it. It 118-17. I remember when Tofull's 135 at SGDQ was pretty cool. So, yeah, definitely
Yeah,
awesome to
Darkman.
see. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, Kaflon is one of the runners, by the way, in the race.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, for some reason, I had aside from the fact that the intro is like, I don't know, a billion minutes long, I had a pretty interesting like fascination. Like before, like a lot of people started taking this game seriously. Like I remember like back in the day, like the Ant Killers and the Black Yoshis running this game when like nobody even cared about Super Mario Sunshine. And I don't know, it's always been that kind of game that like it feels a lot different than Super Mario 64, but it's still like a really good watch. Like I'm always impressed by the gameplay of this game, so it's nice to see that people keep trying to improve this game.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I think it's safe to say that it gets overshadowed by Mario 64 just because Mario 64 is kind of overshadowing a lot of other games in the speedrunning community, but it's gotten to the point now where the tech in this game is so varied and so innovative, just what they're doing, that, yeah, I mean, you have to look at it as equally impressive, so...
Absolutely.
That is that. The full video there, the replay on the bottom of the screen. I noticed our links are getting longer and longer, which means I'm getting older and older because we're not going back to 3 letters in the bomb choose anymore. We're up to 4 letters. So
Oh no.
check out that run. And I've noticed every time that I've gone back to either capture footage for the show or just to check back on the link there to make sure it's still working, he's always streaming. This guy is always live, so if you want to watch Sunshine, you get your fix there. I think he's been doing hoverless runs as well, which I didn't really know was taken seriously by anybody until recently. I didn't know about that, so a lot of people liking that, apparently.
It's an incentive in the GDQ race.
It's also in the GDQ race. There we go. Cool. Well, aside from the, really good gameplay that we like to showcase, we also like to showcase the really not so good gameplay. And that's what we call Glitch Please. And this week, it's brought to you by our good friend Sean Cass. Now, Sean Cass is in a bit of a situation here. He's had an unfortunate Link to the Past run. He is a couple minutes behind his PB. It's not going to happen this time around, but he's still going to finish strong. That's really what it's all about. With a smile on your face, just beat the game. Just end it and move on. Just you can do it. You got this, Sean Cass. Okay. All right. That is. Let's take a look at that again. We got to see that again. What happened here? All right. So he touches the fire, and then the fire repels him. That's right. The fire says no. No. Down you go.
I literally have no idea why that happens, but it's hilarious.
I love it's the final. That is the moment where you just say, "I am never, ever." Ever playing this video game again.
Yeah, that is. What is
so
it about the
dumb.
Ganon fight? How many times have we highlighted the Ganon fight on this show? we had the 37 teleports with Andy. We have Sean Cass bouncing.
We've had just Andy throw his controller at the cart and turn off the game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. He threw his controller at one. Andy's been in a lot of these. He's a maniac.
Pretty
Well,
SGQF.
Thank you for that clip, and reminder to everybody watching that if you have something hilarious happen to you, or you are watching a stream and something hilarious happens to that person, you need to inform us so we can make fun of them on our show. And you can do that at thefinalsplit.com, so head on over there. Check out our clip submission form. Now, that being said, I know you guys have a lot of questions for Bananas about the Nintendo World Championship, so now is the time to ask those, or any other questions, really, that you might have. And I guess I'll throw a question to everybody. Anybody got any stream plans this weekend? Yeah. No. Streaming. It's
It's a thing of the past.
all of us are past it. Really.
Yeah.
I don't have time.
I'm
for
spending
that.
the rest of my life on Twitter. I have found the glory of Twitter.
So let me ask Bananas first while we're waiting for questions. What is life after the championships? Are you doing anything speedrunning related still? Are you taking it easy? Just
Well, I did make a promise on my Twitter to try to pick Skyward Sword 100% back up, but that's not going to happen until after I quit my job, which probably won't happen for a while.
Hold on.
see what happens. It's already dropping frames again. Why would it do that? Actually, no. Well, it says it's dropping, but I'm not dropping any. So maybe we're back.
I say it always does that
Okay,
right at
wait,
the end
wait.
for a second. Yeah, I think we're back.
All right,
I think so.
maybe.
We're trying to load the video. Hi.
Yay.
It's live.
Back
Okay,
from the
sound
depths of the internet, it's the final split.
recording. Oh.
All right. For those of you that are watching on replay, whenever I upload it, probably next year sometime, because I'm way behind on uploads, you saw nothing. This was a seamless transition, and we're still in the middle of the Q&A segment,
Yeah.
which our chat has clearly prepared for with their multitude of questions that you see in the chat
Absolutely.
right now. I mean, just look at all those question marks. They are so prepared for this segment where they ask questions. I'll just sit here. It'll be a minute. We'll wait.
Cricket.
All right, here's my question for
for it.
Bananas. Okay,
Ooh.
so let's keep it positive in here. Who was your favorite person to meet of the competitors at Nintendo World Championships? Who was like maybe someone you were like, but like as it turned out by the end, you were like, this dude's cool or this chick is cool. I'm gonna hang out with them.
Definitely Aaron. Definitely. Like I mean, everybody in the speedrunning community just says like really bad things about him because he's like that Game Grumps guy, but he was really really cool and he was not bad at games. But yeah, since I was like last to be called out and he was second to last or whatever, we were lined up for a little while, and so we actually talked, and then we were on the same team, and we always ended up having to sit next to each other after rounds and stuff, so we talked a good bit. He was really cool.
I just want to point out that most people named Aaron are pretty cool, so I agree. And let's see. I saw some other questions here. Was everything paid for? Your flight, the E3, and all of that? Did you have to pay for anything yourself?
They paid for the flight, they paid for the hotel for 2 nights, and they gave us a free pass to E3. You didn't get a guest, so if you wanted to bring a guest, you had to pay for them. And they didn't pay for transportation from the airport or any other form of transportation, and they didn't pay for food. They did give us a $250 Visa gift card, though.
Okay. So, I mean, for the most part, it was...
In LA, that's a night.
That gets you... I saw you said something like a $7 bottle of water. Is that true?
Okay, they didn't. Okay, I wanted a glass of water, so I thought it would be free because I ordered room service the night after the World Championship so that I could just go to bed. And they gave me a big bottle of water, and they didn't tell me it was going to cost anything, and it was $7.
Now you
And
know.
I was so upset, and that dinner cost me $50. I was so angry.
Yeah, room service. That'll happen. Let's see. I saw somebody else ask, was there? Let's say you make it to the finals. Okay, you make it to the finals. Who do you want of that group? Who would have most wanted to play against in the finals?
Cosmo.
You wanted to play Cosmo?
Yeah.
Now, is there a fan fiction behind this? Am I not aware?
No, I just okay, so I've never played a 2D Mario game ever.
Wow.
But like I rock at 3D Mario.
Okay.
Like I said, like my strength was not retro games at all. So I probably would have not done very well in the first 3, but the first 3 didn't matter because they just gave you a 15-second advantage.
Right.
Like I would have wrecked in the final.
As it turns out, the full 45-second advantage was needed.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have made a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not to fulfill some sort of like I don't know, fan fiction of a viewer or something. You wanted to actually just Cosmo was the
I
guy.
just wanted to win. I just
Yep.
wanted to win.
Because I
If
feel
I
like
was making it into the finals, I wanted to win.
that's right. You got to pick somebody. You got to find the weak player there. That's
Exactly.
There you go.
I don't think we ever got to this, but did you guys have any idea what the prize was outside of the? Was the
No.
trophy something that? No, you had no idea.
No, they didn't even tell us about the trophy. Like, I only knew about the trophy because someone, I think Simmons, like, texted me what the prize was. Like, they didn't tell us. You had to have read Twitter.
Someone outside of the event.
Yes, exactly.
Now-
They never told us about it.
Now the 90 championships, they gave away a car.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So how now that you know that, how does that make you feel about the prizes they gave this time around?
Well, they also gave all the challengers gold carts or whatever.
Yep,
or
that's right. That's
something.
right. Yeah, the tournament cartridge that's still worth a lot of money.
Yeah, and I was surprised we didn't get anything. Like, I thought we would have. I mean, I guess we got the gift bag,
You got
but
the
I thought we
swag
would have
bag.
gotten
Now,
something. exciting. Like I thought maybe we would get like a copy of Splatoon or something, like something that Nintendo
Sure.
could
For
give away.
participating in the 2015 World
Not a
Championships,
car.
each of our runners-up will receive a copy of the home game.
I mean, it's something. Like,
yeah,
I
give 'em
expect
I'm
something.
imagining Nick Arcade now.
Yeah.
They're like,
Well,
you're gonna
they'll
win
also
a
receive the
trip to
Encyclopedia
Miami.
Britannica. Like,
No,
You're
instead
gonna
all you
VCR, right? Sick.
Yeah.
instead all you get is a $50 room service bill.
all you get is a $50
Yeah.
room service bill. Now, I don't know about you, but is the swag bag, were other people given those, or was that just for the competitors? Because maybe that's worth a lot then. Maybe the swag bag.
No, they're things you can get in the Nintendo World or whatever
Oh,
Nintendo
that's-
store.
that's-
Like I'm pretty sure they just took items that were on display that needed to go off display off the shelf and gave them to us because
They'll
like
take
all
it.
my items say like for whatever
Like,
only
for
no
display
sale.
only? Yeah.
Yeah, for display only no sale.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But I did
Hmm.
get the peach one, so I really don't care
There you go.
because
That's what you
I
wanted, right?
won. Yeah, that is what I wanted.
There you go. More questions here. I don't know what happened. We had all these questions when we were talking about it earlier in the show, and then everybody went silent.
Nah,
with
you covered
questions.
everything.
We basically
We
answered
had-
everything that you want to know about Nintendo World Championships.
We had one question. What was your favorite game to play during the competition?
Yeah.
Well, honestly, like I enjoyed Mario Kart 8 most, even though I sucked at it. But I guess like I like Blast Ball because I rocked and we rocked it. But I love Mario Kart. Like Mario Kart is one of my favorite games, so I had fun with that. And also, I played as Cat Peach since I don't have the DLC at home and I didn't want to spend money on it. I was like, I'm gonna play as a DLC character, so I don't
take
feel
full
the need.
advantage of my trip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You got what you wanted out of it. You got to play Cat Peach. I know Cosmo had kind of the same attitude in Smash. He's like, I just want to play Roy. I don't care if I win or lose. I'm just gonna play Roy. So, let's see. Everybody else but Bananas. How far do you think you would get in the Nintendo World Championships? Spike shaking his head.
I had people I had people on my stream say, "Oh man, you totally would have beaten John Numbers even at Mario Brothers." And I was like, "Okay, maybe I would never have gotten there. Never in a million years. Maybe if I had been carried through Splatoon,
Yeah.
Blast Ball, Mario Kart, no chance.
No chance. That's where you fall to the losers bracket. Starts-
I would have been right there with Cosmo in Mario Kart, just dead last.
Darkman,
Balloon Fight, admittingly, watching that, I wanted to try it too.
Darkman,
That
how
was-
far? Sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
Considering out of all those games, I would only have a fighting chance at Balloon Fight. I would say
Yeah.
not very far.
All right, so
Balloon Fight, I would probably wreck kids, but
Yeah.
everything.
here's my thought. I think I would make it past the security guy onto the stage. I would begin to do the commentary, and then they would boot me. Like Reggie would actually show up, trap door. He's actually on stage underneath, pops up, just punts me off the stage, and that's as far as I make it. So I guess we'll have to try out this theory at the next championships. We'll see if I make it on stage for a line or two. But I don't know. As far as actually competing goes, I don't know that I'd have done very well either. I don't know. I've got Splatoon. I've played Splatoon, but I don't know. It's hard to tell. You never know what games you're gonna get. So
Sure.
let's see. Was the room intimidating? Oh yeah, of course, the auditorium. You're playing in this kind of this big
That was
theater.
kinda giant, yeah.
Was there-
Actually, it really wasn't to me. I've done a lot of I did a lot of acting stuff in high school, and I actually like the biggest theater in my area. I went to like a summer camp where we performed there, so I'm used to being on stage, I guess, and so it really wasn't intimidating at all to me. I know that's weird, probably, but I loved it. It was fun.
Nice.
It was. That being said,
Now-
it was nice.
Now
Thank
you said you high fived Reggie. Did you get any interaction with like Miyamoto or Kevin Pereira or any of the other commentators on D1?
When we went to lunch, the Nintendo rep said, "Okay, Miyamoto and Reggie are in there. Don't make a scene or anything." So they ate lunch in the same room as us, but we didn't really get to talk to them at all. We weren't really allowed to talk to them at all. D1 actually ate at the same table as Miyamoto, which everybody was jealous.
Yeah.
But yeah, so really Miyamoto only came out for the very end. We never saw him except for at lunch. And Reggie was around, kind of. He was actually like backstage watching over all the streaming stuff and the screens and stuff like that the entire time. So we didn't really see him either.
Okay.
But
Yeah, that sounds believable too. All this sounds believable. I'm believing every word. Like I'm imagining D1 just rolling up to Miyamoto.
He was casually there, like
Just-
trying not to be like, oh, I'm
Is this
freaking
seat
eating next to
taken?
Miyamoto.
So-
We have a question chat just talking about the commentators, and we've obviously Darkman, Golden, and I, we've done commentary for. I think that was closer to this was probably our mystery tournament, and it's a little awkward. It's a little like when you don't obviously have the super rehearse. Like I know Golden, obviously you and Sinister One, you guys did the Super Metroid, but you knew that game. I thought a lot of the commentators did about as good as they could with this kind of goofy format that they set up for them. I think it was a very hard thing for them to really commentate on something that they're not experts in and the players are not experts in. So, and that, maybe more of a heads up to them. I'm sure they knew a little more than the runners did, hopefully. At least the games, but yeah, I don't know. That was almost setting them up for not failure.
I think it's a combination of things. I think they were hurt just as badly as the stream viewers were not knowing who is who. I think that really killed a lot of the commentary that could have happened.
Absolutely.
So that's something to note. But I also think, the idea behind who they invited as commentators wasn't so much that, hey, these people have all worked together, they click. It was more like, these are well-known people from different, sides of gaming. So that gives us a better chance to appeal to more people. Like DJ Wheat has probably, I don't know, maybe he has, but I don't think he's ever done commentary with, say, Justin Flynn, who does Pokemon usually, right? DJ Wheat's more of a like StarCraft or, PC gaming kind of commentary guy. So, I don't know that they went into this saying like, oh, these people all click well, that's why we want them to do commentary. I think it was more like, these are personalities people are going to recognize, and that's fine. I think that's the approach that they took. But I think that's also part of the trade-off they were willing to make, that, hey, they might not click as well. They might talk over each other.
Sure.
So, yeah. And
yes, shout-outs to the girl who knew about both screen scrolling and the leaving Dungeon 1 and then going back in. Yes, having a little bit of knowledge there.
Yeah. And that's that. Let's see. I think that might be all the questions that we had, unless somebody else. Were you surprised how far Aaron got?
Well, I didn't know anything about him. I've just heard he's bad at games. So I guess based on the fact that all I've heard is he's awful at games, yeah. But
Okay.
He really wasn't.
No,
He
I
really
thought
was not bad at games at all.
played a lot better than people were giving him credit for.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Somebody asked me how did I feel about Fernando.
Fernando T.
Fernando T. Give us the
All right.
breakdown.
Listen, I didn't watch it, so I don't know how he did. But listen,
Now-
I don't care if he got in last place. Fernando T is and will always be my boy.
No, I'm going to call you out
Damn
here because how can you rally behind Fernando T and then in his one moment of glory in the make or break moment of Fernando T's gaming career, you're not there. You jumped off the bandwagon. Okay? It was game 7. Right? And you just said, "You know what? He had to win it at 6 or I'm not going to be there." You did not see it all the way through.
Wait.
Oh.
What's Fernando T's gamer thing?
Oh, this is a good question. Let's see if Darkman knows.
It's Fern Sig.
Here,
Something.
I haven't followed. Let me see.
Now,
Fernando-
hold
And
on.
that was our other
Fernando
Splatoon player.
T's biggest fan
Yeah,
not only
Sig
didn't
01.
watch.
That was your
That was
Splatoon
our
player?
other. That was the other
Alright.
Splatoon guy.
There you go.
Me and
There
him were
it
Fernando
all
on-
T
came
was on
back
the Splatoon
around.
team.
For those of you on YouTube who watched this entire episode, the answer came back to you at the end.
Yeah.
Yes.
But so the answer came back, and also I noticed Darkman didn't even know Fernando T's gamer tag, so clearly not the fanboy that we all
Listen,
thought he was.
I
but-
don't need to be a fanboy
Okay.
to be a believer.
To be a fan.
To be
To be a fan.
Oh, I was gonna say to be a
For
boy.
him to be
To be a
or
boy,
for him
yeah.
to be
You
my
don't need to
boy,
be a
yeah,
fanboy
that's
to be a
true.
boy. Yeah.
Listen, he'll always be my boy.
Well, there you go. Maybe in 2040, Fernando T's big return, and maybe Blecky on commentary too. How about that? Get some Blecky commentary going. Make it happen. We should wrap the show up though, or it's just gonna go on forever and ever. So let's get a speech here, and I'll throw it out there to whoever wants it. Whoever feels so inspired. Oh, I just can hear the inspiration.
The inspiration.
Listen, I can't top my speech from last week, so
Okay.
Just trying to find a raid target. Give us the most inspiring speech you can possibly give, Bananas. I think you should give this one.
Wow. Way to put
okay.
pressure on a guest, Spike Vegeta.
Well,
Tell us.
if this will be short and to the point.
Yeah, gonna nail
Go
it.
for it.
If you play Nintendo games, you will be famous in the end. There you go, everybody.
All right.
There it is. That's really good. I like
That's
it.
gonna be said at high school graduation.
That is poetic right there. That is.
I know you've all been wasting time with your studies.
All right, so you're gonna have your Shakespeare lesson. You're gonna have your Robert Frost, and then you're gonna have your bananas. Okay, that's gonna be the semester plan there. Everybody go home and study, and become famous off of Nintendo games. That's the motto.
Don't not know how to wall jump in Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Learn how to wall jump. That's good too.
Play balloon fight.
Play balloon fight. All right, there we go.
Play balloon fight.
Oh man, that'll do
Play
it.
Super Metroid 2, just in case.
Everybody should
Fight Mother Brain.
fight Mother Brain, because you never know when you'll have to fight Mother Brain and play balloon fight for your tournament life to stay alive in the underground. So we'll be back next Thursday, assuming that this internet problem was temporary. So plan on being back here next Thursday. Dark Man, enjoy your weekend. Play a lot of Final Fantasy, and we'll see you there. I think eventually I'll probably be a little behind, but
Sure.
enjoy it. Spike Vegeta, you have a good weekend as well, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Whatever you're planning to do, hope it goes well. And Bananas, a good weekend to you. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
We are rating Walcanut
What a target.
with play Nintendo games in your life will be great. That is a good raid message there. So for everybody here on the final split, just remember that your run is not over until you compete in the Nintendo World Championships 2040. We'll see you there. Countdown begins right now.